Hey there, YouTubers. It's Leo Alderpold again. Cheers. Well, it's Friday, so it's Poets' Day, which, for those that don't know, means is an acronym for Piss Off Early Tomorrow Saturday. So I'm done with work for the day. So I'm actually going to be working quite a bit over the weekend anyway. And I've had a few errands to run this morning. I've taken my girlfriend to the bus station. She's going to be in Hong Kong and Borneo for the next couple of weeks on one of her one of her regular holidays to go and visit her mum who lives in Hong Kong. I'm smoking. Just sparked up some Capstan Navy Cut Flake Blue, which surprisingly I don't think I've included in any of my top 5 videos, which is incredible because it's it's damned awesome stuff, and I'll definitely be getting some more to take with me to PNG because it's a beautiful sort of straight Virginia that that I think will suit the climate a lot better than some of the things I regularly smoke here in the UK. But I wanted to talk about something. Now, yesterday, when I uploaded my video from the woods about continuous cover, I gave a shout out to those of you who had responded to my recent video asking the question, why people make YouTube videos. And I've just been so overwhelmingly touched by the responses that people have given me, either through personal emails or comments, all the video responses that they've done, because it was obviously something that really made people think quite a lot. And I don't want this to be too much of a deep sort of a deep and meaningful video or anything like that, but it probably will be because I was overwhelmed really by people's honesty and bravery and strength in a lot of the responses that they've made. So the reason for this video really is to give you a bit of background, I suppose, as to why I asked the question in the first place. So it's going to involve me relating a story about something that happened just over 10 years ago. Now, when I was doing my research in Brazil in 2006, it was, I had a research partner there, a girl by the name of Vanessa. Who I'd known for a few years by that point anyway. So we worked on a project over there together for a while, and I looked after her house for a while she came back to visit a few people in the UK and from her native Portugal, and while she was in Europe generally for a couple of months. So, and then she came back to Brazil, and we did a bit more research together, and then it was time for me to leave, so I left and I came back to Britain. Now, unfortunately, about a week and a half after I arrived back in the UK, I was Skyping with a friend of mine from Brazil at the time, who had been trying to contact me. And as it transpired, Vanessa had been killed in quite a horrific way. she was researching out in the region where we'd been out in the forest together. Um, Cut a long story short, basically a guy who'd recently been released from prison for similar things came across her out in the forest, raped her, strangled her, and beat her head in with a stick. Now, Brazil isn't a country which respects people's privacy and generally respects due process about such things. So I was hearing this information literally just as it was coming out out of the forest and to those who had been involved in our circle there and in that part of the world at that time. And unfortunately, as I was talking, I was to my friend on Skype. I was also looking at what was going on in Brazil, and the newspapers, the online papers, were already reporting of her death and showing some quite graphic photographs of a few things. Now, her parents live in Europe still, in Portugal and in Germany. And I didn't want them to find out about the death of their daughter by reading it over the morning papers. So, cut a long story short, the Brazilian police, the university, and the Foreign Office at that time asked me to break the news to her mother, which is what I did. So, in the context of all of this, I had to keep everything together, keep my head together until such times as things had been put in place to bring her back from to bring her back from Brazil and bury her in her home country of Portugal and so on. So I wasn't really able to sort of let things go really until all of that had happened, and it affected me very much at the time. So what happened after the funeral, after the whole sort of tragic episode, if you like, had kind of ended. I was really, really, pretty fucking miserable, pretty depressed. It hit me like a train. And a friend of mine in Ireland, out in rural Ireland, said, come on over here, finish writing your master's thesis over here in Ireland. And so that's what I did. I went to live in a little house in the middle of nowhere in Western Ireland, and whilst I was there, I was very depressed and very down and all the rest of it. And I found myself playing this computer game, which I'm sure a lot of you will be familiar with, World of Warcraft. Now, what struck me through playing that because it's a multi-person online game, so you're playing with other. You're playing this game with other individuals from around the world or around your region or whatever else. And you start communicating with these people. And I asked, and as a correction, sorry, forgive me, as we talked, I found out a little bit more about the individual lives of these people that I was playing this game with as characters, if you like. And there were just some amazing, moving stories as to why people were spending their lives on a computer playing this game. So there was a girl in Holland who'd had a stroke at a really early age, at about 30, and was pretty much housebound and had some major sort of mental health issues as a result of her stroke. And for her, it was a form of escapism. And a way for her to kind of imagine herself, I suppose, in a way. Similarly, there was a couple of people here in the UK. There's one guy whose son had been killed in Iraq. He was a soldier in Iraq, and also this guy, particular chap's sister, and his best friend, the guy who died. And they all played as well. So it struck me that a lot of people were doing this for a lot of very, very deeply moving and personal reasons. And it's only when you really kind of try and look beneath the skin, beneath the facade be it on an online computer game or in the YouTube pipe community, that you begin to really understand the individuals themselves behind it. Because the reality is, in one way or another, most of us, when we go out we meet in our social circles, we mix in our professional lives and so on and so forth, we are wearing a suit of armour, an invisible suit of armour of one degree or another. And this is a suit of armour that's come from all of the experiences that has ever made us what we are today. But it's also a mask, and it's there to protect us. It's there to protect the real us. And this happens in day-to-day, in real life. And it happens in the virtual world, on an online role-playing game like World of Warcraft. And I also had no doubt it was true here in the YouTube pipe community. So what I was particularly moved by and astounded by was the degree of honesty that people came out with in response to the video that I did a couple of days ago, and when I posed the question as to why we do this. Now, of course, it's not true of everyone. Many of us have, this medium through which to communicate with each other through a lot of different reasons. For me these days, it is as I said in that particular video, it's really just because I enjoy so much engaging with you guys through this format. It's kind of like Skype. Almost, but it's staggered over longer periods of time. It's not a direct conversation per se. It's one which takes place over a stretched out period of time. And one of the things that I thought about at the time that I made the video was, Lord of the Rings fans out there will know what I'm talking about here. But when I think it's Merry and Pippin, can't remember really, in the book, who go and meet Treebeard, the Ent. And then Treebeard gets all of the Ents together, and they discuss whether or not they're going to what they're going to do about Saruman and the tower and all of that stuff. This conversation between the Ents takes place over a really, really, really long time. It takes place in tree time, which is a very long and extended period of time. And Merry and Pippin get quite frustrated with the length of time this conversation's taking, this meeting's taking. So. And YouTube's kind of a little bit like that, really, in a way, because we build this relationship with each other. We get to know some very personal, very, very personal things about each other. And it takes place over an extended period of time. And you know what? I think the thing that I really enjoy about this community is just the willingness of so many people to share so much on a very personal level a lot of the time about their individual lives and who it is that they are and how they've progressed in the journey of their lives. And that's an incredible honour. To be privy to that level of information is an incredible honour and should be respected tremendously. And likewise, I know we're putting all of these videos out on out there in the internet world where anybody can see them. That's just remarkably brave. Remarkably brave. So it gives me hope for people. I think that's what I really enjoy about this community. It gives me hope for humanity, for us as a society, wherever you come from, whatever part of the world that you come from, whatever your story is that makes you what you are and has brought you to where you are today. We discuss this. We open ourselves to each other in this regard. And it's only by doing that that we can really start to then face ourselves and consequently become better people for it, become more empathic, understand the issues that other people face in this world. So this is a very unifying medium through which to communicate with each other. I'd like to think that if more people actually talked face to face, rather than keyboard warriors and all of that sort of stuff, but also that in our day-to-day lives, if we remove that armor, if we remove that mask, then people would feel automatically more emboldened to do the same themselves, and to expose that we are intrinsically all the same under the skin. So that's a great hope for humanity, and God knows we need it in this day and age. Everything that's happened politically in the world in the last year or so, yeah, we really need to come together, people. There are far too many people out there dividing us, and we have far, far more in common than we know about. So those are my thoughts on why I did the VR. I was watching Unicorn Piper. It was you, my friend. It was watching your VR earlier on that prompted me to make this video. And I very much appreciate that. I'm running towards 20 minutes now. I'm not entirely sure I'm going to be able to upload this video as it is, but I'll try. If not, I'll have to record a shorter one. But I'll leave you with a message that however we differ politically, socially, economically, in the colour of our skin, in our religions or lack of them, and in our worldview, what really matters the most in this world, in this one life that we get in it, is that we recognise and embrace that under the skin we are all the same, each and every one of us. So I'll leave you with that thought. You folks take care, be good to each other, and I'll see you again real soon.